Welcome everyone to the John Lavinia Success Mastermind session, 13th of October 2021, believe it or not, and joined by some of our wonderful members of our group, John Lavinia Success Mastermind group, which are a mutually supportive group of people pursuing goals, objectives, entrepreneurial endeavors. And you're welcome to join anytime you can. So we'll get things underway. People are still dialing in. John's given me the controls of the ship today, so hopefully we'll have a bit of fun. Glenn has been teleported off to another dimension, and regular listeners will understand that reference. So he is elsewhere and not possible to step into his shoes, but I thought I'd just share some topics today. Housekeeping wise, this is the only session today because Glenn is out of action in a course, I think, and I'm doing today's session, so I won't be doing this evening. But on that front, welcome suggestions for any topics for the Life and Business Tools workshop sessions. I want them to be more of a workshop so that we can all share our problems and ideas. We have been discussing people's individual businesses, which we can do. And we have had some off-air time as well to discuss those problems if people don't want them aired on the recording. So you're always welcome to join and share issues in terms of what you can do to develop your business or overcome business problems. So where are we today? Well, it's been really quite a journey. As I said a couple of weeks ago, it's been over a year now, just over a year since we all launched this. In fact, the members of the group launched it and persuaded John to do it, which was a great day. Whole year, it's really been an incredible journey, and I wanted to take a look at that journey today and recap some of the key things that I think have emerged so we can lay those down in our records, and hopefully we can stop as we go along and see how any of the thoughts strike you. One thing that certainly always sticks in my mind is being compared to Yoda about a year ago, so that's that one I haven't forgotten as a highlight, I must say. But as we know, we're already in the last quarter of 2021. And with all the disruptions and twists and turns that 2021 has presented us, we thought 2020 was bad enough, but things haven't really become any easier. And in fact, we're now seeing the tail end of the real effect of the pandemic building into business issues globally, which we haven't really experienced before. Global recessions of this nature and global disruptions of this nature are quite rare. But despite all of those challenges, there are always great opportunities for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs always look for the positive side of disruption to see what they can do about it. And that's the mindset we have to have. And these huge dislocations that have definitely taken place and are now manifesting themselves have thrown up problems which need solutions. There's always a solution needed on the other side of the problem, and that's what we're looking for. That is what we have to do. So while whole markets have potentially changed now, perhaps forever in some cases, what that's teaching us is that we can't stand still. We can't just blindly carry on applying old business models and old methods and old solutions. We have to adapt and change and keep examining them. And that translates right down to what we're doing in our business. We can't just sit there pumping out the same thing and hoping for the best. We have to get those antennae up and keep watching out. The whole of the online e-commerce model has now been seriously challenged. Although e-commerce did very well in the actual lockdown, the real problems are now emerging. For example, we always knew, but it now is in sharp contrast more than ever, that the whole business model is often based on cheap supply chains, which are very distant and long. Affordable long distance shipping, we took for granted. We can ship anything, anytime from anywhere. And other factors that affect the supply of goods on internet sites in our home countries have really now been called into question and have caused severe pressure. I'm one of our members already, I was speaking to the other day, has had to reinvent our whole supply chain, move all the production from China and the Far East to America, which has cost a lot of money. So that's the other side of this. We've then got to redo all our planning. So we can't just fail to re-examine, we then mustn't fail to replan. But these are all classic events and business situations which have occurred throughout time. There's nothing new in this. And it's because we're doing all this mindset work together that we're well equipped to deal with them. We're well equipped with that positive outlook to find those solutions, readjust our plans, and get on with it. And we're all here to share the roadmap together, to share the plan together so everyone can reach success. And everyone's gladly throwing in their experience, which you will have seen, which is great help to everybody else. So where have we really been then together throughout this year? What stands out in my mind? Well, that's what I wanted to run through. It's been certainly exhilarating and challenging, you could say, at the very least, not just because a lot of people have been propelled into learning a lot of new things, but because we couldn't really guess what was coming next. Would lockdowns continue? Would they not continue? Could we even get to suppliers? Could we get to retail outlets? What was going to happen to transport? Nobody knew. And in fact, many brave souls in this group have launched into entirely new territory. And many, as I'll call them, intrepid explorers, have learned a lot of new skills and really have transformed their knowledge. I'm sure Gail would probably agree with that. Things that you never thought you would learn, Gail, you've had to learn. And we've had sessions on them all. So it's not been easy, but with the courage and focus and gradual steps that everyone's taken, transformative events have definitely taken place. And I think we've all seen that. We've all seen that very, very markedly in certain of the entrepreneurs that have popped up in the group. So anyway, I wanted to look at some of the highlights of the sort of things I've been talking about to try and gather those strands together, because there's a massive spaghetti of topics over this 12 odd months. And I thought I would just sort of highlight some of those. There's an awful lot to go through, so I may stop as we go. But looking at some of those highlights, it certainly became very clear to me over the year that we needed a complete perspective reset. And I actually talked about perspective in one of my talks. And as I said recently in another talk, the world really is upside down, because our historic conditioning and well-meaning, comfortable baggage is now actually weighing us down rather than helping us. It's weighing us down. I'll come on to that in a minute, but to suffice it to say that in my view, old attitudes are not going to build new roads. That's how I'll put it. We have to change our attitude. So if we carry on and we carry out this reset that we need of perspective, we can succeed, that's for sure. So let's look at the challenges and how we can reset and meet them. What I certainly do know for sure is that 2022 represents a new dawn, breaking on a new era. The pandemic really has, it would appear, brought to an end the old era in a very abrupt fashion. And views have changed permanently on a whole range of topics and on fundamental societal production factors, flaws in infrastructure. A lot of things have been exposed to be unworkable, and a lot of things have been questioned. And those flaws include energy supply, overstretched remote supply chains, unsustainable labor practices, delivery and logistics systems being under pressure, not being in the right place, critical holes in infrastructure, and just a lack of resilience. The example recently in the UK being 2 fertilizer plants shutting and the entire CO2 production being disrupted, affecting several industries. We just didn't know we were that reliant on 2 fertilizer plants, and it sounds kind of crazy put that way. And views have changed as well, and the views that have changed include how we view our own home space, remote working, travel patterns, consumption patterns, online e-commerce and its acceptance and acceptability, and the same with digital payments and their penetration and acceptability. All these things have thrown up challenges which we're now beginning to really actively think about. People who didn't even know about these things before are now very aware of them. So the number one focus, I think, for us is, as this old era ends, we have to keep testing and focusing on what we're doing, retesting, refocusing. What are we doing? What's going on? What is our core offering? What did I start offering as my core idea? And I've got to test and revalidate it all the time, because things are moving pretty quickly. And we can look again at this in a minute. Are we all doing this? That's the question. Are we actually looking at what we're doing, or are we just pursuing old ideas that have lapsed or become really inadequate now until we hit a brick wall? That's what we don't want to be doing as entrepreneurs, ever. And this is really, really a disruptive time with rapid moving currents that we have to try and steer our boat through. And to me today, this is a real battle cry as we enter the fourth quarter and complete the year. And please join with us in this group and overcome the obstacles, learn how to reskill, which is part of the purpose of all these talks, hone our knowledge, product, services, and ideas. And all the other talks highlight those things, the e-commerce sessions, life and business sessions, EVA sessions on corporate curios. We're trying to reskill ourselves to cope with the challenges. But the spark that was ignited by this group during 2020, in my view, has lit many, many fires. And I would invite anyone who's listening to this to come and stand around those fires with us, because we share a lot of things around those campfires. And I think they've proved valuable to a lot of people. That's certainly the feedback that I've had. So number of challenges that we've talked about, a large number. I might dash through these because there are many. Number one, we risk remaining off course and adrift in a sea of tasks and never questioning whether we are doing the right things for the right reasons. That is the risk. We just carry on in these tasks without questioning, hang on, what's behind this? What am I doing? And am I doing it for the right reason? So we need this focus and testing and validation constantly of why we're doing these tasks, what they're leading to, and whether they serve our purpose. We have to go back to our core idea, whether we're still pursuing it, whether it's still delivering, and it's going to deliver the results we set for it when we set out on our journey. But have we been pushed out of shape? Are we off course? Are we selling into markets that have changed or dried up, or where margins have simply been cut to nothing and it's not worth doing it anymore? Have we actually checked our sales results and our initiatives? Have we really done that and said, are they delivering after all advertising costs, after all shipping costs, et cetera, et cetera? And have we identified and taken action on what's needed to change, or are we just letting the drift carry on, knowing in the back of our mind there's a problem, but burying our head in the sand? We surely don't want to do that. And then this all links back, and it's closely linked to our passion and purpose, because whatever this core offering is, it should be linked to that passion and purpose we sat down to identify when we worked out what it was we wanted to put our life's work into and our life's effort into. So is that enterprise we're running now aligned with our purpose? Have we actually checked that? Challenge 2. The problem can occur that we're actually on course and steaming ahead in this sea of tasks, not adrift, but we're on the wrong ship. So this is what I was just alluding to. Are we pursuing our true passion and our true purpose? Have we actually launched forward on the right course, or has it changed, or has something happened? We've got to check that. We've discussed it throughout the year, and really, really, this question is behind everything we're doing as entrepreneurs. You can go off and do a money-making venture, but the chances are, if your passion and soul and heart and soul and purpose is not there, not behind it, it won't do anything extraordinary, and it might well not work at all. And this then links straight back to joy, which we've talked about again recently. I talked about a year ago, generating joy. And Janet mentioned it, funny enough, again last week in one of the sessions. She tries to generate joy for her students. Sounds like an inane comment, but it's very, very important. If what we're doing does not generate that joy, why are we doing it? The things that we're doing should resonate with us and create higher levels of energy so we can get stuck in and put the effort in that's required to be 24/7 on pushing something forward to success. We really need those levels of energy to break through barriers and deliver when we have to, and dig deep when the going is tough. And that energy that we have, that high level of energy, if something is resonating with us properly, causes ripples and effects around us, which generates further results. And if we're pursuing our true passion and purpose, this then helps to generate joy, which creates more vibrations, as we call them, i.e. higher energy levels. So this is a virtuous circle. There's a feedback loop. The more joy we generate, the more we feel like doing it, the more energy we create, the more we can do. So this generating joy and laughter is absolutely critical. This is fuel to carry us through to these dreams that we've set down. And if we're not generating it and we're not running on that fuel, what is the point? Got to ask that question. What is the point? Something surely must be wrong if that's the case. This is not just important in reaching that objective, but it's very important for our mental well-being and our general well-being as well. If we're totally out of phase and out of alignment with what we want to do, we're going to pay the price. We're not going to feel good. We may end up unwell and inoperative. So we've got to take this seriously. We have to leave room for joy in the day. And if it's not there, keep asking why. Find out why it's not there. And as I said last year, as I put it last year in my talk, bring joy into the day and open the curtains onto your soul. Let in the light. Because if you can't do that, there is a massive barrier between you and success and happiness, which you have to tackle. And it may be that's the most important thing to do right now before you carry on with the journey. But making sure as well that joy is not being destroyed by negative things. Just doing the wrong things in our day, keeping a huge uncompleted tasks list, for example, is like dragging a huge sack of stones behind us down the road. And that's how I put it last year. That can just destroy all the joy we really have. So back it up with organization and reform and clearing the decks and focusing down on as few things as possible. So we're not dragging these tasks around and depressing ourselves. And it's a sure way of just destroying the joy and destroying your objective and your dreams. So empty that sack of stones. That's the message. And then be true to yourself. If you're out of alignment with that authentic self, with you, and you don't believe in what you're doing, there's never going to be lasting joy. There might be fleeting joy, but it's going to fade and evaporate pretty rapidly. And the other element is, do not live by what others ask and expect of you. Live by what you want to do and what you can deliver towards your joy and your purpose. Doesn't mean you can't help people, because we all have a mission to help everybody else. But you've got to be solid and secure in yourself and pursuing your own dreams before you can be effective for other people. That's my belief. And do something for yourself every day, however small that light is at first. Light the inner candle in yourself in small ways gradually every day, and keep asking, who am I? Because you've got to hold that together to be able to be effective in pursuing your purpose, which hopefully is the right purpose, and in helping other people. And then let's not forget that we attract joy and positivity as a magnet. If that's how we're portraying ourselves, you will attract that in return, and you will align with the right people, help them, help other people, and generate success in the process. So it's win-win all round. You can also repel people by being negative and not full of joy. People can feel it. If you're doing something you cannot stand and your whole demeanor is negative, depressed, down, upset, people pick that up and they will avoid you. They will actually avoid you eventually. So it all goes together. It really, really does. Lots of other highlights I want to mention. We'll see how we get on in timing. And by all means, just dive in and stop me if anyone wants to comment. But if not, note down as you go along anything you'd like to say about any of these issues, because that's how we share and grow and learn together. So if anyone's got any ideas, jot them down and we'll stop and talk about them. We'll talk at the end about them. A fourth challenge that I wanted to highlight was, don't take no for an answer and be who you want to be. Two talks that I've gone through throughout this year I'm talking about. I talked about being who you really want to be right back at the start of this whole adventure in August 2020. And I said, be who you want to be, not who you have been and did not want to be. That was the core of the message. You can very easily end up being who you did not want to be if you're not positive and careful about it. So wherever you want to go, that's a worthy goal. And as Earl Nightingale put it, and you may all remember those original Earl Nightingale recordings some of us watched, success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. And that is the case, whatever it is. If that's a worthy goal, that is a worthy ideal and something that's worth pursuing. So it doesn't matter what it is. If you do it well, it's worth doing, and that's your purpose. And then ask yourself really constantly, why are the judgments and opinions of other people about you more important than your own opinions about you? There is always going to be judgment, negativity, people telling you not to. Yes, we have to keep an open mind and listen to people, but weigh these judgments up and give weight to your own judgment and your own opinion of your own purpose and your own life force. Be yourself, because we need to know you, not what somebody else thinks of you. We need to know who you really are. That's so, so important. And then in getting down to it again, we talked about the fear factor, that this imposter syndrome. People like me have never done this. Forget that. You're never going to find an ideal role model, and you might wait decades to find one in your area, from your background, from your school. It could be you, the role model. So we're all capable of doing anything we set our mind to, and we have a right to do that. Whatever anybody else thinks, whether anyone from our community's ever done it. There was always the first person in any community that tried something. Who in a community lit the first fire and worked out how to make a fire? Who picked up the stone wheel and said, hey, we can use this to transport things? Nobody had ever done that in those communities. And that's what we have to remember. Don't be put off by the fact you don't recognize anyone you know that you can account to or identify with. You might be the first mover. And in getting to where you want to be, just don't take no for an answer. Be who you want to be. John last week, when we talked about this, called it tenacity, which is a great word. Try to make 9,999 of Edison's light bulbs to arrive at the 10,000th that works. That is what it takes. That sheer grit, determination, tenacity, and pursuit of passion and purpose. It sounds incredibly daunting, but if you are aligned with your purpose and your passion, it isn't. You will want to do it, and you'll enjoy every minute of those 9,999 light bulbs, because you're going where you want to go. How do you think Edison did it? There's no way they could have sat there testing that many light bulbs unless they really loved it. Believe me. So you can apply also the joy test here. The pursuit of perfecting the perfect light bulb should seize and consume you totally, as I've just said. If it doesn't, then maybe testing light bulbs and creating the light bulb is not for you. And that's what we have to keep testing in our heart and our mind as well. A number of other things occurred to me, and I don't know if anyone wanted to comment at this point, but by all means do open the mic anytime. This is an open session to share. I'll keep talking a little bit longer. Fifth challenge was just do it. Just get on with it and do it. Remembering that if we're not out there, we will never hit the target. It's an impossibility that we'll hit the target if we're not firing. Remember that. It's better to shoot 100 times and miss than not to have tried at all. So where we might think, oh no, I can't go yet. I'm not ready yet. I better not try this. I don't know what I'm doing. Try something, because you might just hit the target. And if you don't, you'll learn why you didn't hit the target. And at some point you will hit the target. This is John's imperfect and done beats perfect and not done, of course. And it's Michael Jordan's famous phrase. He said, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and I missed. I've failed over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. What a brilliant encapsulation of what this is all about. Imperfect and done. Have a go and learn from it. Not wait, don't try, because you're never going to hit the target that way. You haven't even started trying to hit the target, and you're definitely not going to hit it. The moment you're out there, anything can happen. You don't know which target you're going to hit or what's going to be generated by it. And again, one of my favorite quotes I've used several times in this 12 months we're talking about, Lao Tzu, Chinese philosopher, said every journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You have to put that first foot out of the door before the second foot can go down on the ground. So the first foot is crucial. You've got to start somewhere, no matter however small and insignificant it appears to be. Do something. Do some training, create a product, write a blog, do anything, but just have a go. Please, please have a go. I can't stress that enough. Sixth challenge highlights from that. Passion and purpose again, but this is the recent talk about the world being upside down again from another point of view. Because what we're doing, and I've noticed this a lot during all the discussions and the online forums I've seen, people are looking for tools and systems, apps, software, before they found their passion and purpose. And I've talked last month about the fact that's never going to work. No amount of tools and systems are going to compensate if we don't have our passions in the right place and we're not aligned with our purpose. Nothing is going to fix that. You can't put a system in place to fix that. The systems come afterwards. The apps come afterwards. They support your drive towards your passion and purpose, which comes from here inside, but they are not a substitute for having that. So forget about the systems, the priorities, the goals, the planning, and everything else until you're absolutely clear. You're getting that feeling of creating those 9,999 light bulbs and enjoying it, saying, I'm on the right track. Now, how do I do this? Now, what do I need to organize that to get rid of this sack of stones, cut it down and generate my joy? So this is all linked up. All these challenges are all linked, which is why I've picked them today. Seventh one I wanted to mention, and we're going to draw to a close soon. It's a corollary to number 6, i.e. the world being upside down, because the world is also upside down because we're conditioned by society and our past experiences. And we're told to react to those preconditioned feelings and sentiments and stereotypes in what we do. And they generate the reactions that steers the ship on this sea of tasks I've been talking about. And in navigating us towards our ultimate objective, it's upside down, because it's only by being able to envisage a different outcome that we're actually going to arrive at our goal. By repeating the same outcome, we will never get the same feelings and same reactions automatically. The condition into us will never arrive. that we've never known anything else. And if we don't think about anything else and any other possible outcome, we'll never get there. So we have to jettison this mental baggage and these gut feelings, and our hot air balloon is going to rise high in the sky. It will start to climb. Don't just keep repeating, in other words, the same gut feelings, the same conditioning, the same auto reactions from something that's happened to you before. And don't do that and expect the result's going to be different. It's going to be exactly the same. You're going to be exactly where you are or where you were in another year. Change the conditioning and generate new responses, and consciously do that. To do that, you've got to envision possible different outcomes. Those responses will generate those different outcomes. What are they? What is a possible different outcome? And what reaction can I have to get to the different outcome, not the same outcome? And our friend Einstein, again, has reminded us several times during the year, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. How many times have we heard that? He might just as well have said, feeling the same things again and again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. This goes for feelings too. Doing the same things and feeling the same reactions every time something's about to happen is going to give you the same result. And that is kind of crazy again, isn't it, really? We can break that. But that is what our conditioning and society leads us to do, to feel the same things again and again and wonder why we're back where we started. So we can break it. We can break it. We have to connect. We have to connect. That's another one, the last one that I'll mention. No matter how compelling our idea is, our passions are, you've got to be out there connecting with real people who are your customers or clients. Otherwise, this is some ethereal dream which has no reality and no meaning. You can't move a mountain on your own. You need other people to move it with you. You need other hands to dig it down. You've got to reach out to customers. You've got to reach out to colleagues. You've got to reach out to advisors. You've got to reach out to mentors and trainers. You have to build your own contact list. That is the power. The contact list is your power. That's the difference between an entrepreneur and an employee. An employee does not need a contact list. They take their employer's contacts and work on those. If you're launching your own venture or your own endeavor, your own dream, you need your own contacts that will help you to move that mountain. That is what this is all about. So you have to connect. You have to be out there. Just like, just do it, the Michael Jordan shooting at the basket. If you don't connect and you don't try and shoot, you won't hit the basket. You won't have a basket to connect with. There won't be one. So we've held many sessions about connecting with Glenn, and that's the focus of his networking magic sessions, which we will have attended. So Glenn is there to help us with that. So where are we? Well, as we're approaching the year end, there are so many more ingredients I could mention, but I thought those were pretty key, and they keep coming up time and time again. And for me, pulling those out of this spaghetti of ideas is what is going to drive us forward in this 2022 new era that's now being launched, post-pandemic, the dismantle of the old era. We need those things in our toolkit. So let's be leaders in 2022. Let's latch onto whatever that passion is and share it with everybody else and be out there sharing it. Get the message out there. Let's be innovators. Let's be triers, in other words, and let's identify what people actually want now in this new era and show them the solutions to those problems that align with our purpose. What can we deliver to these people that need this help or want something? So let's try also to generate some joy every day by connecting with that passion and that purpose. If we can do that, we're going to fly. And let's take off and fly with our friend Eddie the Eagle Edwards, who I mentioned again recently. Remember Eddie the Eagle, the ski jumper who participated in the Olympics and then fulfilled his dream. He had nothing, no advantages, no equipment, but he dared to try. He fulfilled the dream with what he had at his disposal. We can all do that. Whatever's around us, say, okay, I don't have everything I need, but what can I do with what I do have? Because it's amazing how far you can go. And I've discovered also, and I'll talk about this in future talks, that you can change the past. And I'll leave you with that suspense and that intriguing message for the next set of sessions, that you can change the past. And I've come to that conclusion, and it really hit me with force. So in conclusion, and I can feel at this point the influence of Glenn's tractor beam pulling me towards the end of the talk. And sorry you're not with us again today, Glenn, and hope the course is going well. But as some of you may have guessed during this year, I've often been addressing myself in these talks. It's a very shared journey, this in a very real sense of the word. Thank you for sharing the road with me, because I'm on it with you. We're all on it together. We're all learning. We're none of us arrived. We're all learning. All of our contributors have shared their own personal experiences, their approaches, and their lessons. And they've done that so we can actually find out how other people broke down the obstacles, what they did to get to that success, what the path was. And then as we stand on the brink of a new era, as the Financial Times put it yesterday, let's not go back to what was not working anyway. The end of this era, let's just not repeat the old era and say, well, that wasn't working. Let's do it all over again. That would be, again, Einstein's definition of insanity. So let's change something. And at this point, I really did want to open the floor. And I'm sorry I've gone on probably slightly longer than usual. But I wanted to share these things. And I would love to hear from you if you had any thoughts. So please share. Anyone that wants to come forward. Gail's looking very pensive as usual and was listening intently, which I appreciate, Gail.
Yeah, I think everything you had to say was right on. For me, right now, trying to find what my passion is difficult. I've tried 3 different things with e-commerce, and I really didn't like any of it. And I'm at the point where I think I've gotten comfortable, lazy if you want, with my everyday life. And I can't see that it's good to continue that way. You know, I'm very happy and very content with my life. And I belong to quite a few organizations that keep me busy, but those busy and happy and connected with other people, but those things don't bring me an income and I don't see any avenue there. So I'm sort of at a standstill with everything. And I just don't know what my passion is, and I've got to find that. So that's my little bit.
Well, Gail, that is a brilliant contribution, because I think that is the nub of everybody's problem. That is really, really the most often repeated problem that I've heard. And it's my own problem as well. We keep testing ourselves and saying, is this really right?
Yeah.
We never stop doubting that until we really latch onto something. Now, you do get the stories about Roger Federer deciding to play tennis at a young age and becoming the world #1. You do hear about Joe Bonamassa watching a blues video with his dad when he was 8 and then playing support to B.B. King by the age of 11 and then playing the Albert Hall. You hear about these stories, but that is rare in my experience. Mm-hmm. And I think, Gail, I want to hold a whole load of sessions just on this. And I was thinking of doing a whole course just on this.
I think
because it's not about, you see, e-commerce is just a delivery mechanism. And all it is retail by another name. Yeah. So if you would not in the old days have considered yourself a shopkeeper who wanted to go and set up a shop, for example, or a supply business, then e-commerce isn't going to change that. It just means that there's a different delivery channel available to sell the same things we were selling before. So that is not where we're going to find it. And I remember in one particular study, they talked about panning, like panning for gold in a river and trying to find those gold flecks. You see, Gail, I see you as being someone with vast experience and with a lot to say to people to guide them in their life. So I see you more as being a mentor and a mover of ideas.
That has been my main role in life.
Well,
and now
and it shows
over to this is,
but now some of us have already taken that decision, me included. We all embarked on selling and retailing, well, more than nearly 2 years ago now, but let's say 18 months ago. And a lot of people decided along the way that that wasn't for them, but they found by doing that they were able to advise other people, either in a general mindset sense or in a technical sense or in another sense. So I think that the first thing, Gail, is to just sit down and start looking below the surface at the things that give you joy and why. Do you like dealing with people and helping people? Do you like? Well, there you go. So those are all the things you need on your list, because you need to find something that gives you interaction with people and feedback from people and possibly the feeling that you've helped them. And you're not necessarily going to find that by selling widgets from China, whether or not they're blue, pink, green, or all colors of the rainbow. So, you know, we're going to talk about this a lot more, because I think this is a real blocker. I think a lot of people don't even get on the path properly because of this. and we've talked about it often. So that was a really spot on comment, and it's close to my heart, very close to my heart, Gail.
Thank you.
Now, did anyone else have any, Lindsay, hi.
Yes, I love what Gail said. And yes, I think you, a people person, yes, see, I think I am on the right, what did you say, train going the right way, or bus? I don't remember, but I think I am. And I love it, but there's parts of it that, I would like to delegate per se. But I have figured out that picking up the phone and calling is not going to get you like shot. You may hear no, but it's not that terrifying that, somebody's going to come through the phone at you. That's been a big deal with me. But the e-commerce thing, I honestly have something that I'm supposed to send to someone. It's been in there for 2 weeks now because I just forget to go to the post office. I don't go a whole lot because it's been homeschool with kids and I'm at the ballpark and it's just go. But I found something that just does it all for you. And, you just handle once I get in talking to people, I'm actually, I'm pretty shy to a degree to come out and talk and just come out with stuff. But once I get talking with someone and, I really do love I'm passionate about what I'm doing. And it's, but I think it's because it's in alignment with my why. It just got like massively huge about a month ago, or really in the plain sight. So yeah, I do think that, but for so long I didn't know why or what I wanted to do. I knew what I didn't want to do, but, I don't know. I think that getting clear on the best way to, I'm a success. I'm progressive realization of worthy idea. I'm headed that way. I'm just trying to find the best way for me personally, because we're all different. But I've got the determination and the mindset to see it through. I will be there. I won't quit. That's for sure. Yeah, not
well, Lindsay, that's great to hear. I think you've made just incredible strides over the time I've known you, and it shows. You wouldn't probably have wanted to talk much in the same way on the camera at the very beginning. You've changed your whole approach to a lot of things, which is fantastic to see. And I think it's great. There's nothing wrong with delegation. I mean, we do go through the startup phase if we don't have much funds, where we have to roll our sleeves up and do everything from emptying the dustbins, making the tea, doing the products, doing the ordering. But delegation is key. But delegation isn't going to fix things if the purpose isn't right. And as you've said, at least you're passionate about what you're doing. But there's nothing wrong with delegating to make your whole delivery more efficient. That's a good idea. Yeah. Ideally, you want to be replacing yourself in the pyramid with people that can do the tasks you don't have to do. And then you're left with the tasks only you can do. That is the secret of the entrepreneur who can grow and progress to the next level. Because if you try and keep hold of everything, you will never grow. And that's been proven in so many businesses where the entrepreneur founder never gives up the reins, keeps interfering, tries to keep control of everything. And then it's effectively a one man or one woman band forever with a few delegates knocking around who haven't got freedom. That means they won't develop, the business won't develop, and eventually the founder's out of it and it's finished. Mm-hmm. So you have to delegate, and I'm glad you're doing that. But taking a step back, that will not work unless you're pursuing your entrepreneurial passion or purpose in the first place, as we all know. So glad you're delegating. That's a good step to have taken. And we've talked about that in the business sessions quite often, how crucial that is. A successful entrepreneur replaces themselves until they become redundant. That is the test. If you can make yourself redundant in your own organization, you have arrived, because you've trained other people to do the things you don't have to do. So you work up the tree until you're left with only the things you can do that you have to keep an eye on. And that's the holy grail. That is it in a business. If you don't do that, it's going to stay exactly where it is and go around in circles until you retire or can't carry on and the business ends, which is not a success for anybody. No value is being destroyed. Nothing's been created. It may have given you an income, but nothing's come out of the end of it. all that endeavor.
That's
And
so,
yeah,
that is.
it is.
That's
And you
so-
can sell these businesses. We've had a session on selling your business as well, and we might have another one. Businesses are valued on certain factors, including the fact that they're buying your business, not buying the founder. They don't want to find that they have to keep the founder in the business just to make it work. They want to see how it's going to be able to have a succession and a handover so someone else can run it. Otherwise, they won't buy it. So again, delegation and creating the future. That's all important. Great, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Great, Lindsay. Well, I don't see any hands up, and see Edward there. Haven't spoken to Edward for a while. I'm delighted to have him there with us. And hope you're getting on well, Edward. And send me any messages you want to if you need any help or any ideas or any questions. As I said, this Life and Business Tools sessions we're having are more like workshops where we have a topic, and then we have questions, and then we have people sharing their problems on their real businesses and ideas, so we can try and find a solution and share ideas. And that's what we do in those sessions. So if anyone's got any ideas or suggestions for what they want covered, let me know. Any rude suggestions, send them straight to John, and John will deal with those. But so we've had some great fun. Anyway, housekeeping, really just closing off. No other sessions today, so we're back in action tomorrow. Glenn is away on a course, so he won't be holding his session. I've done the midday session, so I won't be in action later. My next session will be in 2 weeks for Life and Business, and next week I'll be on the general session. So thank you to John and Glenn for letting me host today. It's been a great experience as usual. I can't tell you how much I draw from these sessions. It's lovely to be here with everybody. It keeps me on track. And Edward says he's with us all, and we're with you, Edward. We really are. And we'd love to hear messages from you on the Facebook group. If you have anything to ask or share, I just hope it's going well for you. We're all here together around the campfire. Thank you so much. And let's move on and up into this 2022 new era. Let's do it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Adrian.
Take care of yourselves. Have a lovely end to the day.
Bye,
Thank you.
Lindsay. Bye, Edward.
Goodbye. Bye, Edward. Bye.